That morning, Incheon International Airport was bustling with passengers arriving from various countries. Amidst the crowd, public attention was suddenly drawn to two figures walking side by side. IU wore a white hoodie with a simple hat, while Byeon Wooseok appeared casual in a black jacket and sunglasses. The two tried to walk inconspicuously, but a small moment immediately changed the atmosphere. As they passed through the crowd, Byeon Wooseok reflexively grabbed IU's hand to keep them together. The simple gesture lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to shock several fans present. Shortly afterward, photos of the two began circulating on social media. Within minutes, IU and Byeon Wooseok's names were trending. Many fans zoomed in on the images to confirm whether they were actually holding hands or simply walking close together. Debate ensued. Some believed it was simply a reflex action to avoid the crowd, while others suggested there was more to it than friendship. IU remained calm, occasionally smiling at fans who called her name. Byeon Wooseok also bowed several times in greeting. Despite being the center of attention, the two didn't show any awkwardness. In fact, they shared a few laughs when a staff member almost got left behind due to the airport crowd. This small moment fueled speculation that the two seemed very comfortable around each other. Upon arriving at the VIP lounge, the atmosphere finally calmed down. They chatted casually, occasionally looking out the airport window. IU then joked that this trip would definitely be a hot topic because cameras had been following them since they got out of the car. Byeon Wooseok simply chuckled and replied that he had expected that from the start. The light-hearted conversation made the two laugh again, unaware that some fans were still curious about their relationship. Meanwhile, social media was increasingly filled with fan theories. Some made compilation videos of their interactions over the past few months, while others uploaded moments of them together at various events. Every glance, smile, and even small gesture began to be analyzed as if it had a hidden meaning. Hashtags surrounding their names continued to climb, becoming one of the most talked about topics of the day. A few hours later, the two arrived at their destination. As they exited the airport, it began to rain heavily. Byeon Wooseok immediately opened a large umbrella and invited IU to walk ahead to protect her from the rain. Although seemingly simple, this small gesture again caught the attention of fans, who saw it as a thoughtful gesture. IU responded with a warm smile and thanked him. Then the two walked to the waiting car. In the car, IU took a deep breath as she stared at her phone screen, which was filled with notifications. She chuckled at the various humorous comments from fans. Byeon Wooseok became curious and asked what all the buzz was about. IU showed him one of the posts, which described them as the most compatible couple of the year. The two looked at each other and laughed together, taking all the speculation as a token of their fans' unwavering support. That day's journey ultimately became a memory they would never forget. Not because of the rumors, but because they realized that every small step they took together always attracted attention. Nevertheless, they both chose to enjoy the day in a relaxed manner, keeping the same smiles on their faces as the car slowly pulled away from the airport. For fans, that fleeting moment may have lasted only a few seconds. But in their imaginations, it felt like the beginning of a hopeful romance. Whether it will one day become a reality or remain the stuff of fanfiction, one thing is for sure, IU and Byeon Wooseok's chemistry always manages to bring a smile to anyone who sees them together. They then sat on the balcony in silence, enjoying the tranquil evening. For the first time that day, they could talk without cameras or the spotlight. Their conversation slowly turned into a deeper conversation. Byeon Wooseok shared that the past few months had been incredibly exhausting, with his filming schedule and various promotional events barely allowing him time to rest. IU nodded slowly, as she felt the same way. They shared stories about the pressures of being public figures, how everyone's every move is scrutinized, and how sometimes it's difficult to find time to be themselves. Although the topic was quite serious, both felt comfortable because they could understand each other without needing much explanation. There was a sense of calm that was hard to describe, as if they were talking to someone who truly understood what they were feeling. Before attending the official event, they decided to take a short walk in a small park that was still quiet. The morning air was fresh, and dew still clung to the leaves. IU stopped at a small lake to feed the birds gathered at the edge of the water. Byeon Wooseok just stood a few steps behind while watching IU laugh happily watching the birds fight over food. Seeing that smile, Byeon Wooseok unconsciously took out his phone and took a photo secretly. When IU realized it, she immediately laughed while asking for her phone to see the photo. After seeing it, IU smiled and said, "If you keep taking photos like this, your gallery will be full of photos of me." Byeon Wooseok just smiled while replying, "Maybe that's what I want." As the evening's event began, the two returned to their professional appearances before the guests and media. They walked the red carpet, greeting fans who had been waiting since the afternoon. Camera flashes followed their every step. But behind the smiles they displayed in public, there was a small moment that no one noticed. When IU slightly lost her balance because her dress got caught, Byeon Wooseok quickly held her hand to prevent her from falling. The gesture was brief, but enough to calm IU. She whispered softly, "Thank goodness you're here." Byeon Wooseok simply responded with a warm smile without saying anything. The night was getting late when the event finally ended. On their way home, their car drove through city streets filled with beautiful lights. There wasn't much conversation. They simply enjoyed the atmosphere while listening to soft music on the radio. IU then looked out the window and remarked that the day had felt very long, but also full of memories that would not be easily forgotten. Byeon Wooseok nodded slowly. He believes that sometimes happiness doesn't always come from big moments, but from simple things like a warm drink, a chuckle in the park, or a walk home accompanied by someone who makes the heart feel good. Before parting ways to their respective rooms, they paused briefly in the deserted hallway. Byeon Wooseok smiled and thanked IU for making his tiring days so much more enjoyable. IU returned the smile with an equally warm smile and said she felt the same. They then said goodnight to each other before heading to their respective rooms.